So, I'm not very happy with this. I'm not very happy at all. Wobbling. So let's bypass that. Let's forget that for in there. I'm using that, aren't I? So we'll cut a piece of this off. We'll cut a piece of this. So we know that works in there, don't we? So we'll cut a piece of this and we'll put it on. I've got this funny bolt. I don't really want to waste a good long bolt going in there. So this has got this, it's got a weird thread. Look at the thread on this. That is quite a weird thread. And it'll hold it better, won't it? But it only goes down there anyway. So cut a bit off, put a new blade for the end of it, put that there. That should go in there. Now the top, I've got this. Now this, I don't know whether they're connected, whether they do the same job. I don't know what they do. But this, that threads into that box. I quite like this box. So I might make a false top, you know. So cut this off there and grind it all nice and smooth, and like a big nut to bolt there, couldn't I? A big nut on here. Use this here, use the center of that to centralize, you know. So imagine that being that thick in there, doing that. I think it's better. I'm really not, and this couldn't be any longer anyway. I had to cut it down so it could fit in there and go in. So I'm not very happy. We'll put another place to keep this. It's the working of this that matters. So yeah, I'm going to make a new one of these to go in. It's going to fit in nicely. It's going to just drop in with an odd looking top, so it doesn't look like it turns, but it will turn, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So here we are. It's a nice new one, a bit shorter. Put that in there. I quite liked that top, so what I did was screw it in, cut it off, screw it in a bit and weld the end of it. So that fits quite nicely on there now. It's lovely on the groove. And the thing that nearly caught me out, it didn't catch me out, but it nearly caught me out, because the more you screw that thing down, the more that's going to go down, isn't it? Yeah. So I nearly wasn't going to reach it. So you have to make sure. So when it's locked, it's going to look like this, like it's sort of the extension of the thread. And when it's unlocked, obviously the thread's going to come up, isn't it? As that thread comes up, this key will be coming up as well, won't it? And I just like the look of that. So we'll find somewhere else to keep the other key. I didn't want to waste a bolt, but I had that knocking around, and I'm sure I was never going to find a use for it. Well, that's done the trick quite nicely. Once it slots in, it has to slot in easily, yeah, and turn easily. If it jams, it's not in the right place, but it's lovely, yeah. So that's going to turn that, and that's going to do this. So let's carry on now with the other side. I've got an idea. I've just got to search through a load of boxes. So, do you remember we had a sort of socket session, didn't we? Car boot socket session, buying boxes of them. I remember this was stuffed full of them. Now I seem to remember having loads of UJ joints. Where the hell did I do with the universal joints? What did I... Oh, what's that? Haha. Oh yeah. That's what I'm thinking of now. Yeah, nice universal joint, I think. I'll show you where I'm thinking of putting it. And using sockets and nuts and bolts. Put the shaft in there, weld the shaft in there. Put some sort of weld a big nut on the end of there. That'll be the strongest. And then on the top of that, weld another nut with the appropriate size socket. And put this universal joint here. That should deal with the movement of that, shouldn't it? Yeah. So get a nut, fit it on there with the appropriate sized nut, cut that off, weld it on there, put another nut on top, get the socket to fit the nut that's going to go on top, and then use that as a universal joint. That should then push that rod upwards, weld the rod into there. Yeah. So, remember we had a mad session on sockets, didn't we? And we got quite a few universal joints out of it as well. So we'll use this lovely jubbly. So we've got it. We've got a nut that fits in there quite nicely. I've got this socket that'll go in there. That'll come through the bar. So weld that nut into there. Shove that onto there to wherever we want it. Weld in the end so it'll be there. Cut that off, maybe closer, put it there. Then get this one, weld that into there, make that into a T. We've got a spark plug, so it's not quite the right size, but it doesn't matter. I can weld the nut, that nut, making use of these. I've got loads of spark plug sockets. So weld the end of that nut on the end of that spark plug socket. That's going to give us our adjustment. That shaft will go in there a little bit, won't it? That will go in there should we need to. So weld that onto the end there. There's our adjustment there. Connect that to there and send our shaft vertical from there. So it's going to look something like that with an adjustment there. Yeah, that'll do the trick. So here we are now, look. The nut was welded in the cap. Ooh. The nut was welded in the cap, look. That sits in there quite nicely. We've got ourselves some adjustment here, look, should we need it. And you know when you're making something, you're thinking what you're going to say about the next bit of film. And I was going to say, as you upgrade it and you use bigger bolts and everything's stronger and easier to burn. And there again, look, I blew a hole in my spark plug socket. Because remember, that didn't really quite fit well. But that'll do there, that'll stick it. But I blew a hole in my spark plug socket, damn. But anyway, the more you upgrade and make things bigger, the easier, much easier the welding begins, because you can burn and wait there, you're not blowing holes in everything. And lo and behold, I blew a hole in my spark plug socket. Reggie, you idiot! Reggie, you idiot! So I just want some sort of a guider for the shaft that's going to be coming up from the top there. And as you can see, this is a rusty old nut. You'd think no good, no man, no beast, but because it's a big one, all you have to do is grind it, clean it, make it all nice and new. It's brand new underneath the rust, isn't it? So that's going to be really nice and clean to weld up. And the size doesn't matter, it's going to run up there, it's just a guide. The looser the better. The tighter, the problem it causes you. All it has to do is guide it, so that's going to be fine for just guiding that shaft up and down. Yeah, ready to go in the keep. So yeah, although it's rusty and knackered, still pick up the big heavy stuff, because it does good for you know, there's a goodly amount of metal there to bring back to life. Clean it up and grind it and weld it onto whatever your project you're working on. Yeah. So it's only it's a hot midway keep. See, that rusty old nuts won't come back to life now, so it's only a midway keep. So see what we did. There's plenty of room for it to move around in, but at the same time it keeps it under control. And then you weld the top bit, and then you crush it in the vise until the other bits reach it. And now she's well and truly, I might bash that end in, crush that together and weld it, and then bash this flat if it's causing me any trouble. But yeah, you can make use of everything. You can just make, okay, it don't look very nice and it's as ugly as sin, but give that a lick of black paint and it's behind the door, you wouldn't really look at it, would you? And at the same time it's doing what it's got to do. It'll connect to the door, because the door's made of this stuff, and so that all the holes will line up, and it'll just keep that bar under control, which is what I want it to do. Make use of her rusty old nuts. So that's about as much as I can get done for today. So here is the new key. Going in the new hole, winding down just lovely. So what goes down, it's a bit stiff. I think it's this hole that's fouling. What goes down must come up. So it comes through here and goes upwards. I haven't welded that on yet. That might cause me the trouble. I don't think this hole is quite big enough, and this bar isn't quite straight, so it needs a bit more wiggle room. But that now will go up into a keep up there. So all I have to do is make a keep, you know, a hole that comes out that this will go into. That's easy. She's basically done now. See, we've got wiggle room in there. This is the one that's pinching. This is the one that's fouling. Yeah. But I thought, just to show you how strong these Tek screws are, I just banged that across, because I'm going to do something here, bigger hole here, I think, to allow that to move through. But yeah, that's it for today. So we've got a bit closer. We've made a new handle, and we've worked on the connections, haven't we? And we've got some adjustability in here should we need it. A little bit of adjustable there. Up we come. We've got that holding it, which I think should be a bigger hole. Follow the bar to the top, and we got this going through here, this, and we just need to make a keep at the top now. Easy peasy. So what have we got visiting today? Well, we've never had a Royal Enfield here, have we? What's it called?
It's a Scram 411.
Oh, what cc?
411.
411.
Spooky. It's a single cylinder.
Yeah.
4-stroke, exactly the same engine as the Himalayan, which is why it's called a Himalayan Scram 411.
Yeah.
It's got a smaller front wheel.
Yeah.
It's got all the scaffolding that's normally on the Himalayan removed, and a different type of front headlamp mounting. And
you're in the doghouse because you made the bracket yourself. You should have come round here and got a Reggie bracket on it. That's a lot cleaner and a lot more professional looking. But you know.
Yeah. So I can do this, you see, Rich.
Look at this. And the bag just clip on and clip off.
Yeah.
because it was that doesn't belong. That bracket belongs to.
It belongs to a Himalayan, and the Himalayan, although it's basically the same bike, there is one bolt in there that you need to mount their bracket to, missing. So I had to make a bracket with a thread in it and then hide it all behind the original fitting. So I'm chuffed with it.
So you regified it.
Yes. Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, and a digital clock.
It's all good.
Brilliant. Look at that.
Yeah.
Blimey. And like you
this
said.
is actually a sat nav, but I've never managed to get it to work yet.
Oh, what's that now?
Yeah. Mm.
Oh. And you say, much the same as a Triumph, but obviously a Triumph is a lot more money.
Well, not the same as a Triumph, different field in it really, Reg. But I mean, the cheapest Triumph you buy is probably 10 grand.
Yeah.
And this brand new is 4,700. So.
Yeah, that's a good.
And I mean, it's a nice light bike. It's a single cylinder. It keeps up with the traffic. It's great for nipping around town.
Brilliant.
It's economical in it because it's only a small engine.
Yeah.
And it's fairly stylish, really, for a Royal Enfield.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey.
I play with it. I've also put a side stand on it.
Oh yeah.
Not a side stand, a centre stand, because they don't come with one of them. So that's off a Himalayan.
Yeah.
I'll put that bit on it.
Oh yeah.
And I've put some
Fender extender and a hugger.
some lifters here.
Oh, just to bring that little bit.
Lift it up a bit, make it look a bit more sexy.
Ooh,
So there we go.
brilliant.
That's what we've done.
Absolutely brilliant. Haven't you?
For almost 40 years, we've been doing things the proper way.
Oh, you gotta bring that with you.
To make delicious drinks.
Come on then. Come on then. You with this? Right, come on. Come on then if you're coming. You're coming. Found a way, haven't you? Come on then. You know, it's tougher getting on this big one there, isn't it? Tougher. It's much tougher. But he's got used to it now. Right, ready? Got it. Got you. Got you. Got you. I've got you. Okay? Good boy. Good boy. You don't panic now when he lift you up, do you? Good lad. Off to sleep now then.